The 1908 Republican National Convention was held in Chicago Coliseum, Chicago, Illinois on June 16 to June 19, 1908. It convened to nominate his successor to the popular GOP President, Theodore Roosevelt, and his Vice President, Charles W. Fairbanks. In the event, United States Secretary of War William Howard Taft of Ohio won Roosevelt's endorsement and received the nomination. The convention nominated New York Representative James Schoolcraft Sherman to be his running mate. The platform. The Republican platform celebrated the Roosevelt administration's economic policies such as the keeping of the protective tariff, establishment of a permanent currency system, additional government supervision and control over trusts. It championed enforcement of railroad rate laws, giving the Interstate Commerce Commission authority to investigate interstate railroads, and reduction of work hours for railroad workers, as well as general reduction in the work week. In foreign policy, it supported a build-up of the armed forces, protection of American citizens abroad, extension of foreign commerce, vigorous arbitration and the Hague Treaties, a revival of the U.S. Merchant Marine, support of war veterans, self-government for Cuba and the Philippines with citizenship for residents of Puerto Rico. In other areas, it advocated court reform, creation of a Federal Bureau of Mines and Mining, extension of rural mail delivery, environmental conservation, upholding of the rights of African Americans and the civil service, and greater efficiency in national public health agencies. The platform lastly expressed pride in U.S. involvement in the building of the Panama Canal, the admission of the New Mexico and Arizona territories, called for the celebration of the birthday of Abraham Lincoln, and generally deplored the Democratic Party while celebrating the policies of the Republicans. Speakers. The following individuals spoke at the 1908 Republican National Convention. Many spoke with the goal of nominating a specific nominee, as this was before the age of the primary and they were all decided at the convention. June 16 – Prayer by R.T. Rev. P. J. Muldoon v. G. Julius C. Burroughs, Michigan Senator. June 17 – Prayer by Rev. William Otis Waters, Henry Cabot Lodge, Massachusetts Senator. June 18 – Prayer by Rev. Dr. John Wesley Hill, George Henry Williams, a former Attorney General. Henry Sherman Bootle of Illinois, lawyer and diplomat. Joseph W. Fordney, Congressman of Michigan. Frank Hanley, Governor of Indiana. Charles A. Bookwalter, Mayor of Indianapolis. Stuart L. Woodford, former Congressman and Judge of New York. Theodore E. Burton, Congressman of Ohio. George A. Knight, attorney and businessman. C.B. McCoy, Ohio factory owner. W. O. Emery, young black delegate from Macon, Georgia. Robert S. Murphy, Lieutenant Governor of Pennsylvania. James Scarlett, prominent attorney from Danville, Pennsylvania. Henry F. Kokems, Wisconsin football star. Charles A. McGee, author of The Truth About Money, from Wisconsin. June 19 – Prayer by Rabbi Tobias Schanfarber. Timothy L. Woodruff, businessman and former politician. Joseph Gurney Cannon, Speaker of the House. Augustus E. Wilson, Governor of Kentucky. Henry Cabot Lodge, Chase Osborne of Michigan. James Brownlow Yellowly, Mississippi State Legislator. Thomas N. McCarter, a former Attorney General of New Jersey and public servant. William Warner, Senator from Missouri. Julius C. Burroughs of Michigan. As for the smaller number of speeches than today, this was caused largely by the fact that only actual observers saw this convention due to lack of broadcast media at this time. There were also more convention business items to take care of, since nominations back then always went all the way to the convention where someone was officially nominated. This was due to the lack of a sufficient primary season for the nomination. For this same reason, nominating speeches were given presidential candidates. Prior to the convention, Vice President Charles Fairbanks and New York Governor Charles Evans Hughes both seemed like plausible nominees, but Roosevelt was determined to pick his own successor. Though Roosevelt preferred Secretary of State Elihu Root's age and background in corporate law made him an unpalatable nominee, so Roosevelt instead supported Secretary of War William Howard Taft. Entering the convention, Taft, buoyed by the support of the popular Roosevelt, was virtually assured of the nomination. Taft won the presidential nomination on the first ballot, overcoming Fairbanks and a few other candidates. Withdrew before convention. Declined to seek nomination. Vice presidential candidates. Taft preferred a progressive running mate such as Indiana Senator Albert Beveridge or Iowa Senator Jonathan Dolliver, but Congressman James S. Sherman of New York had the support of Speaker Joseph Gurney Cannon and the New York delegation. Sherman was a fairly conservative Republican who was nonetheless acceptable to the more progressive wing of the party. Sherman won the vice presidential nomination on the first ballot, taking 816 of the 979 votes cast. New Jersey Governor Franklin Murphy received 77 votes, while Massachusetts Governor Curtis Guild, Jr. received 75 votes, with the remaining votes going to Governor George L. Sheldon of Nebraska and Vice President Charles Fairbanks. Declined to seek nomination.